Every time that Inktober rolls around, I always get really excited to participate, but then I always forget. So I've started doing this thing where I make my own sketchbook for Inktober. It's not a very difficult process, it's just a cute little paper book, but I do think it's a lot handier. I decided to use some old paper I found in my closet for this project, mainly because it was really high quality and I didn't want it to go to waste. It was from my first ever project where I wanted to be a mangaka, but it didn't work out. So I have to erase a lot of edgy anime boys and just act like it never happened. I didn't do a lot of measuring, so the ruler wasn't too important for this project, but I did make sure to stay on the lines every single time I traced something, so when I cut it out, it was perfectly smooth. I wanted a unique size for the sketchbook, particularly because I couldn't decide between a square sketchbook and a rectangle. So I went with this really fat kind of rectangle as my idea, and because of that, I do have to cut all of the pages to a new size, which took a little extra time.
I'm trying to film this, and all I hear is Schlatt through the wall, because my brother is watching Schlatt. So, Schlatt commentary.
I did have a Moomin coloring book sitting around that I'm too scared to use, so I decided to rip out some pages and actually use it for the cover and the back. I picked out this really nice pattern, and then I quickly discovered that on the back of one of the patterns had this really nice illustration of Moomin Papa that I felt fit the cover of the book better, so I decided to keep the pattern on the back and Moomin Papa on the front. I wanted the cover of the book to be a lot stronger than the coloring book page paper, so I decided to actually just glue it on top and use a different type of paper. The paper I used was the same kind of thickness as the actual pages on the inside, so it was a nice bristly material. It was from an old project and I have a million of them laying around, so really trying to reuse stuff here. I didn't use any fancy glue either, I just used some Elmer's stick glue and it seemed to work fine. I decided to do a sewn bound for the book instead of a staple, mainly because I thought it would last longer with the wear and tear, and also because the paper I was using is really thick. Like, it is Bristol type paper, and I did not want to risk stapling that. Once I did finish constructing the whole book, I did decide to use some sandpaper to sand down the side, because when I decided to cut the access paper, it got really jagged, and I did not want to deal with it. Last thing I decided to do with the book, which was a complete personal preference, is I went and I looked at the official Inktober prompts for this year, and I actually wrote down on every single page which day it was and what the prompt for that day was. A big thing for me is I always forget which day is what, and I hate going back to find the prompt again, so instead I open the book, find the day it is, and then just draw whatever it says from that day. I think it's kind of funny, on certain pages you can actually totally tell that I reused the paper. I tried my best to erase as much as I could, but some of them really just seeped through, and I don't mind it too much. Inktober is all about improving as an artist and evolving and practice and things like that, so it is kind of fun being able to see all of these lines and characters and stuff that I had on the previous paper that are now, wiped away. I will be doing a sketchbook tour next month of my Inktober sketchbook, so if you would like to see it, make sure to subscribe, maybe even like if you enjoyed, and that's kind of it. Thanks for watching, I guess. Bye! Somehow my eraser survived, but it looks like this now.